Hello everyone, Teacher Kurt here with you again. Well, it's the Christmas season, and recently we've delved into the past to look at some of the most popular gifts for kids back in the 1970s. In this video, we'll jump forward a decade and explore some of the most wanted gifts, toys, and games from the 1980s. Let's get started. So before we look at individual toys, I thought I'd mention some toy lines that made the list in almost every year of the decade. Just as they were in the late 70s, Star Wars toys were massively popular in the early and mid-80s. Another name that appeared multiple times on the list were G.I. Joe toys. Now, G.I. Joe is a toy line and cartoon series that's been around since the 60s, and the show was all about a heroic military group that protected the world. Now, let's get on with the list. Well, the first toy that we'll look at was a huge success in 1981. It was called Light Bright, and it allowed children to create a picture that you could see in the dark. It worked by inserting small pegs into a board. Now, the back side of the board contained a light bulb, which was separated from the front side of the board by a sheet of black paper that blocked the light. Once you poked those plastic pegs through the paper, they would light up. Next, we're going to jump forward to 1985, the year that made a teddy bear very famous. Well, this was the year that Teddy Ruxpin was introduced. As I mentioned, Teddy was a teddy bear, but unlike the conventional stuffed bears kids were used to, this one could talk and move on its own. Teddy had a built-in cassette player in his back. Kids could insert a tape, press play, and the doll's lips and eyes would move as it told a story. Well, that might seem boring now, but back in 1985, that was a big deal. Well, the next one isn't really a toy, but it was hugely popular throughout the US in the 80s. However, 1988 was the year that Nintendo released the NES Action Set, and it was really in high demand during the holidays that year. This set contained the same Nintendo game console that kids had come to know and love, but it also came with two controllers, the Zapper, a light gun attachment, and two games, Super Mario Bros. And Duck Hunt. And if you're wondering, the answer is yes, I had it, and it was wonderful. Well, it looks pretty bad compared to the Switch today, but back then it was amazing. Finally, let's finish the decade in 1989 by talking about a really iconic car. You recognize this? It's Batman's car, the Batmobile. Well, in the summer of '89, Tim Burton's Batman movie was released and was a big hit. All things Batman were really popular with American kids at the time, and lots of them asked for this car for Christmas. It looked just like the car from the film. It had two plastic rockets that could be fired from the hood of the car. I hope you enjoyed this look at popular Christmas gifts for kids in the US in the 1980s. Leave a comment below and tell us what you think of them. Please remember to click like and share. Thanks for watching. Bye-bye.